Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Sabrina Victoria. This is Her Talk Show, and we are going to be talking all about fixing your gut to boost your success. I am super excited about this. We have Nikki Golly here to offer us some insights, some inspiration on how to fuel not only our personal but also our professional growth. So let's jump in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
If you're listening live, welcome. And if you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. We are here every day delving deep into the realms of health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We've interviewed over 600 women, and today we are adding another one to the list. Nikki Golly is a dynamic speaker and nutrition expert, blending science, humor, and shock value to captivate audiences. Described as a mix of science and George Carlin, she delivers actionable insights on digestion, food sensitivities, and energy. She helps ambitious women fuel their bodies, eliminate constipation, and reclaim confidence and productivity. Welcome, lady.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Yes, I always
Yes.
tell people that I talk about the elephant in the room that everybody does, but nobody talks about.
What is this?
This is my favorite childhood book. It's true. Everyone goes to the bathroom. Nobody talks about it. Like, people will go many 10, 20, even 30 years, miserable, sick, constipated most of the
Yeah.
time. And just, unproductive, energy is way too low, all of these things that nobody talks about. It comes from within. So when you
Yes.
dial in and you start to feel better, you start to poop better. Yes, I said it. If you start to poop better, things start working. The wheels and the cogs start working way better, and you make more money because of it. And
I
it's
love that. Absolutely. So why is this? Why is our gut connected to our success?
because think about it. When you don't feel good, most of the time, if you think about it in senses of like, oh, you have a stomach ache, are you going to do those activities? Are you going to make the sales calls? Are you going to fully be present on a sales call or a reach out or a conversation, or if you're on stage or anything? If you're not feeling good within your body, it's
Mhm.
reflected. People can feel it, right? A lot of times you can see someone on stage and you're just like, there's something about, like, it just something I'm not quite sure, like that ick factor. A
Yeah.
lot of times it's a poop factor. Right? If
Absolutely.
you're worried if someone's gonna ask you if you're pregnant when you get off stage because you feel so bloated from a previous meal, or if you are afraid that you're gonna, on the other end of the spectrum, mess your pants before you get on stage, or on stage, or worried about having to get off stage right away because you're nervous, like, all of that massively affects how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Massively affects the connection that people feel with you. So it directly relates to your business and how people are like, there's something I really that's just off about Nikki, or like, oh my God, I'm just captivated by every word she said. Like, her energy is so high. Because again, when your digestion is good, your energy is so much higher. You
Mhm.
feel so much better.
Yes, absolutely. And come to think of that, yeah, when I think about when I'm sick or not really feeling good, or maybe just have really bad cramps even during my period,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really wanna do anything. I'm just like, "Ah."
Yeah. I mean, you're going to do what, like, is mandatory on your
Yeah.
calendar, right? You have someone that's like, that's booked on your calendar. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this. But anything that's ancillary, maybe a networking event, maybe reach outs to get new clientele, you're going to skip all that because you don't feel good. So you're going to, like, take a walk or go lay in your bed or put a heating pad on, or that kind of stuff, that you don't actually do those activities in your business that are really effective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we talk about maybe what we can do to start to cleanse ourselves,
Yeah.
which I'm really interested in hearing that, I would like to know a little bit about maybe some preventative things first. Like, what are some things that we should be watching out for with our digestion or maybe what we're consuming so that we can at least halt it where it's at? Or maybe we have children, right? Might have children
Yeah.
where their bowels are still clean, their bowels are still doing good, they're still pooping regularly. How to keep that up? So, what are your ideas or
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, what is regular? Most people, again, this is such a taboo topic that nobody really knows. You go to the doctor and they go, "Are you regular?" Yeah, I regularly poop once a week. That's my regular. That used to be. That was my story. That's how I got to where I am, is talking about it, having that conversation and knowing what is normal. So let's debunk that, and then I'll kind of go more into your
Once a
question.
week, that's a thing.
For a lot of people it is, believe it or not. Again, diarrhea is more so. Okay, yes, we're talking poop. Yes, though constipation is one side, diarrhea is the other. Diarrhea is a lot harder to hide because typically if someone's experiencing something, they're like abruptly stopping a conversation, run away, go to the bathroom, right? That's a little harder to hide. But on the other side of the scale, the constipation, so many people actually are affected by it, but it's a silent misery because most people don't know. It's a conversation like that it doesn't come up. Okay, going back to what's actually.
Don't people think to themselves, like, where's all the food going? Like, if I ever didn't poop for one whole day, I'd be like, where is the food?
Right,
Where did it go?
right. It didn't just
I would,
disappear.
yeah,
Right.
I would be like nervous.
Like that lets me know exactly where you're at with your constitution, which is a good thing. But so what's
Yeah.
normal? And sorry for the mental picture in advance, everyone, but your poop should happen minimum once a day.
Yeah.
Once a day. And it should resemble soft serve ice cream. Yes, I know I ruined soft serve ice cream for many people, but it's true. So there's only one type of poo that really looks like soft serve ice cream, or Dr. Oz coined the term the S-shaped poo, because there's only one type of poo that can make an S shape that's not hard and it's not super soft. So kind of in between.
Wow.
That's your ideal. That's what you want to happen coming out of your body. Should not be a strain, should not be a struggle. And it should not be explosive either. It should be an easy go to the bathroom, then move on with your business. Nobody wants to spend years in the bathroom, and no one wants to have to run to the bathroom after doing something else, right? So that ideal soft serve, and ideally, again, it should happen 2 to 3 times a day. That's the ideal. Most people aren't in the ideal category, but if you can get to that, that's great. But minimum of once a day.
Love that.
Because you're processing through, you're getting through everything in your body. So processing all of those things out. And if you're not, and I'm not talking about those little rabbit turds. Like a little rabbit turd every day does not count as an actual poop. Like a good poop, like something that actually leaves your body. You actually feel empty after you use the restroom. That's important.
Wow.
Then kind of going back to your question is what do you know what's off? I actually lost the question.
Oh, the question
I got so
was
excited about poop.
The question was, what should we be preventative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the number one thing for prevention is having a conversation, is knowing what's important. Like knowing that you're supposed to poop every day. Like I said, most doctors will ask you, are you regular? That's not really a proper question. It said, are you pooping every day? That's a question that I wish doctors would ask instead of, are you regular? Because people don't know what regular is. So
Yeah.
having that conversation, have that conversation with your kids. You talked about young ones. It's so valuable to open up that conversation. It's back 20, 40, 60 years ago was so taboo and so like, oh, you don't talk about that. We all eat together. Why can't anyone talk about what's happening out the other end? Because it's so important, right? So you eat, your body has to process, has to absorb, has to utilize the food, and then you eliminate what your body can't use. If you're not eliminating what your body can't use, it's actually causing damage.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because it's just sitting somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like somewhere.
Yeah, it's just sitting, and typically it's in your colon. And it is crazy at the rates of colon and rectum cancer. Like in 2024, so last year, 153,000 people were diagnosed with colon and rectum cancer. And according to the American Cancer Society and some of the other cancer researchers, is that you're actually people born in the 1990s are actually twice as likely to develop colon and rectum cancer than people born in the 1950s. So people just think it's like, oh, it's just old people that have like older populations, people in their 60s and 70s that have issues. Like, no, people born in the 1990s, that's like 30. Like, that's scary to have that twice as likely to develop colon and rectum cancer.
Is that predominantly just because the diet, the food diet has gotten so bad?
Well, everything's so convenient and easy, right? Our foods, and nobody really cooks at home. Not nobody, but the average, it's so easy to get food out. And typically, when you get food at fast food restaurants, things like that, it's about taste. Taste with salt, fat, and sugar doesn't necessarily mean nutrition.
Yeah.
So and I mean, there's so many different things. There's more toxins, there's more plastics in our environment, there's so many things. But if we're not having a good bowel movement, if you're not getting rid of what you're eating at least every day, minimum of once a day, it's sitting in there causing damage.
Wow. Absolutely.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
as far as what should we be consuming to prevent constipation and or diarrhea?
Yeah, honestly, one of the easiest things, I mean, there's so many different things we can jump down a rabbit hole for hours, but honestly, one of the most easy thing that's free, typically in every single house, is water.
Mhm.
Water is drinking more water, because water is so hydrating, and most people are dehydrated. I want to say 80 to 95% of the population walk around dehydrated all the time.
What do you say to people who don't drink any water, but say that there's water in all the things that they drink? Coffee, made from water,
Right.
soda,
Right.
made from water.
Right.
What is your opinion on that?
Yeah. I mean, it is liquids, yes, but when you add something to water, it changes it. And most of the time, soda, anything with caffeine, soda, coffee, teas, all those with caffeine is actually a diuretic. It actually dehydrates you. So it may have been a base of water, but when you add stuff to it, it actually dehydrates you slightly. I mean, it's still going to count for some liquids, but really, if you do just plain water or even water, if you hate the taste of water, adding some fruit to it, lemon juice, cucumbers, anything like that will give it a little bit of flavor, but still won't change it, won't add caffeine, that kind of thing. But water helps to detoxify your system.
Mm.
So if you're not detoxifying your system, then you're just walking around toxic, right? You can't really get rid of toxins in the air. If you live in a city, you have the pollution in the air. Even in your homes, most of the time people will clean with toxic things. Like, again, a rabbit hole that I have gone down. You could definitely have some blogs about it, but the air fresheners, most of the time that's toxins, those kinds of things. Even the foods that we're eating, like I talked about plastics, there's so many things that the foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, even the things that we put on our body. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing like the fun lotions that smell really good. Those are toxins essentially for your system. So what can you do to kind of help your body to detoxify that stuff? And the best thing is water. So
Mm.
just plain water. And I always tell people, coffee's not water, tea's not water. Like, that's not water. You actually need true water to hydrate your cells,
Yeah.
to detoxify your system, to help with the digestion as well as the elimination.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I drink water all day, every day.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
absolutely obsessed with it. And really the only other thing I drink kombucha and I drink, smoothies. So I have my protein or
Nice.
my meal replacement smoothies or whatever that is. But
Nice. Well, yeah,
other than
water is
that, just
so good.
water.
And the other benefit about water is how many women could benefit from losing a few pounds, especially if you live in the United States. Most of us have a little extra that we would like to get rid of. Water doesn't have any calories.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have any chemicals either. Some of the stuff that's advertised to have no calories has got chemicals instead of calories. But water has no calories and it helps to detoxify. So it's a win-win. I actually had a client the other day, or she wasn't even a client. She actually just came to a presentation. And I overheard her talking to someone. She was like, "Oh my God, ladies, oh my gosh, I lost 7 pounds." And she was like, so excited. "Oh my God." And they were like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And she was like, "Who would have thought that drinking more water would have such an impact?" And I was like,
Wow.
like, yes, because a lot of times we misinterpret thirst signals for hunger signals.
Absolutely.
So if we're dehydrated already and then we're like, "Oh," I'm like, your body goes, "Ooh, I need something." We
Yeah.
go for food.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've totally been guilty of that too, where I keep going for food. I'm like, why am I so freaking hungry? Like, why do I'm like binging today? Like, I'll actually think that.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I haven't drank anything.
Yeah. Your
And
body's
that's
like,
what
"I
it
need
is.
something." You're like, "I
Yeah.
need more calories." You're like, "No, actually you need some water."
Yeah. It's the water. Totally.
Yeah.
100%. I know that you talk a lot on stress
Yeah.
and how stress can a lot of time cause issues with our gut. Can you explain that or why that is?
Yes. Stress. So our lives and our design of the human body is to be able to go through, actually every mammal, every animal is designed to go through times of stress and then relaxation. Stress, like, "Oh my gosh, I need to get rid of," for us. It's like if you go back to the Paleolithic times, like, "Oh my God, I need to outrun this saber-toothed tiger and get into my," like, that's that about life. Like, that's really, really important. But now we don't have to outrun that saber-toothed tiger. What happens is that stress is now caused by the computer glitching. That stress is caused by someone not showing up, traffic, in-laws, parents, kids, like all these things that keep us triggered all the time. But our body is designed to go through periods of stress and relaxation. But if everything causes stress, we're not relaxing. And that relaxation is also called the parasympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic is your stress, fight or flight, get rid of, run, fight, hide. And then your parasympathetic is also known as your rest, digest, and heal.
Mhm.
And we wonder why we're sick all the time and not digesting is because we're in stress all the time. So if
Got it.
you're in it, they work like a teeter-totter. The rest and digest can't work if you're stressed.
Got
So
it.
if you have to kind of calm down the stress levels, you usually can't get rid of the stressors. Like you can't get rid of the husband or the kids or those kinds of things because that would probably put you in jail. Can't get rid of them. But what you can do is you can calm down the stress response on the body. And that takes some time. That takes breaths or conscious thought about it. So when you calm down that stress response, you increase your digestion, you increase that rest and that healing piece. So
Mm.
that is so, so, so powerful because most people don't think about it, right? When you're stressed all the time, you're eating on the run, and you're eating fast food in the car, and you're wondering why you're bloated and uncomfortable. You're stressed, and you're probably not eating the right things.
Yeah.
But even if you are eating, even if you're eating like a perfect diet, one of the people that I follow, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about like you can eat an absolute perfect organic everything diet, but what you're going to turn it into is just organic stress.
Well,
You're not actually going to heal of it. You're not going to absorb it. You're not going to eliminate it properly.
yeah, I actually heard about some sort of scientific experiment that was done with animals where they took like bad like food that's not necessarily good for you, like Cheez-Its or something. It was like some sort of snack that's known to like cause weight gain.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the Cheez-Its were fed to a group of, I'm just making it up. I think it was mice.
That
And
usually.
while they were eating the Cheez-It, the mouse was being petted very lovingly, just like lovingly being petted while it was eating a Cheez-It. The other group of mice ate a Cheez-It just in regular atmosphere.
Okay.
So just things are going on, mice are moving around. There's like a little, one of them's exercising, one of them's going through a thing. There's noises, all this stuff. And then after a certain amount of time, they did like the blood work or whatever. And the mice that did it in a calm, even though it was shitty food, no matter what,
Yeah.
to your point, the mice that were like in a nice, calm, loving, restful state while eating it, actually like their blood work was great. They gained no weight, perfectly fine. And then the mice that ate it in a regular atmosphere, just with regular stressors happening, just regular stuff, not
Yeah.
extra,
Yeah.
all gained weight. All their blood work was a mess. Like
Wow.
all the things that you would assume with junk food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to your point with the organic food, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
the I guess the atmosphere of which your body is in also has a lot to do with the way your body digests it.
It's true. It's
Love
true.
that.
It makes a big impact. Again, easily overlooked. Most people are like, "Oh, I need another diet pill. Oh, I need another this. I need to do caffeine." As I did, like, no, you can probably eat the same things, or I mean, you can tweak a little bit, but you can eat the same things and lower your stress and digest them so much better.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Great.
And
Great.
it's fascinating. It's fascinating. I love all this stuff. I'm such a nerd when it comes to health and nutrition and taking care of and lowering stress. And one of the things that you can do, because I'm a giver, I'll just give you everything. Follow me on social media. I mean, I'll give you everything. You don't even have to work with me. But if you want to take it to the next level, work with me. But that one of the things you can do to lower stress, meditation, so many people know. But another thing that I do a lot and talk about a lot is box breathing. So it's something you can do because it engages your brain and your body. And box breathing is breathing in for a certain count. Usually 4 is a good start. So breathing in for a count of 4, holding it full for a count of 4, breathing out for a count of 4, and holding empty for a count of 4. So you kind of breathe like a box, which is weird. It's a weird breath. It's not something that's actually normal. It's not a normal cadence. You don't hold your breath on the inhale and hold your breath on the exhale. So in doing that, what happens is your body goes, that's weird. Like it stops your body kind of in its tracks. And it's like, that's kind of strange. So I must be safe.
Ooh.
Right?
Wow.
In order for me to breathe at this strange cadence, that it kind of calms the system down. It's like, I must be safe. Like I think the stressors are like, they've calmed down and I can like do this. So you can do it with your breath or even long breaths, that kind of thing. Like we typically breathe into our just upper chest, which is hard to not do while I'm kind of talking on an interview like this, right? Having a conversation. Most of the time we just breathe into our upper chest, but actually fully breathing. And typically to do that box breath and do a count of 4, you have to fill your lungs completely, which is a trick to kind of lower stress. So drink water and lower your stress. Those are 2 main things, major things. And just because I'm here and like I said, I'm a giver. One of the things, again, I talk about poop a lot. One of the things I'd love to gift everyone or just kind of have you check out is start the conversation about poop. Start that conversation. And if you have any questions about it, I have a quiz on my website. So my website's below my name. My website is my name, nikkigolly.com. On the front page, there's a poop pop quiz. So just like you're in school, pop quiz time, check it out. Is to check that out. I promise there's no gross pictures, just questions, but questions to start you thinking about what actually affects your digestion. what that is, what score do you get yourself at the end of that, and see where you're at. Have your family take it. Have your husband, your wife, your kids, your grandparents, like, take the quiz and actually look into it, because it's shocking what really affects your digestion, your
I love
energy
that.
levels, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. I don't know. My whole adult life, from what I can remember, I'm like obsessed with taking poops. Like, I just think, to me, it like is cleansing.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, like
It's not just to you, it
I
really
can't
is.
even imagine like not taking one. It'd be like so gross. To me,
But
not
sometimes
no
it's
offense.
not you don't really know, right? A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times there is typically what I find is there's a food sensitivity. There's something that your body is not processing that causes things to
Yeah, like
either slow down or speed way up. Cheese
cheese
is a big
will
one. Yeah.
yeah, cheese will do both for me, which is weird. Maybe it's different kinds of cheese. I've never really looked that
Yep.
much into it, but it'll either give me diarrhea or it'll totally constipate me for like a
Yep.
full day or more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know what it is. Like I know, like, oh, damn
Yeah,
it.
most people don't know, especially when it comes to dairy. Typically, especially on the constipation side, like I said, that was my realm. I poop once or twice a week for like 27 years of my life. I was miserable. I was sick all the time. I used to joke that someone could sneeze across an auditorium and I'd get sick. Like, my
Wow.
immune system was trashed. I had no energy. I had arthritis symptoms when I was in middle school.
So is it all just in your intestines? Like it's just sitting in there?
It all came back down to digestion. It kind of came down that I was eating something every day, almost every meal, that I was actually allergic to, that was causing my body to slow everything way down and
Wow.
not be able to process. So I
So
was,
I'd
like
like
I
to,
said,
I,
uncomfortable.
I'd like to know your thoughts. So, two things that are coming to mind while we're having this conversation, and considering I am no bigger or greater or different than anybody else, I feel like other people are thinking this too. By the way, we have a ton of people watching live. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out with us. If you are watching
Yay,
this on
hi.
the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love. So, number one thing that I'm thinking about is enemas. What is your thoughts on enemas? Is it good, bad? Are you indifferent? What do you tell your clients? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, it can, I would, with a caveat, make sure you actually take care and you're actually doing something good for your body, but just like a water enema, just to kind of hydrate your system. It is shock. I mean, the colon's pretty much entire job is to remove water from your stool and some nutrients, but remove water. So if you're super dehydrated, a water enema would actually hydrate your cells that much faster. I'm a big researcher, and way back in the day, Dr. Max Gerson actually would do organic coffee, but coffee enemas, because your body absorbs that. It actually increases your glutathione production, which is glutathione is the most potent antioxidant that your body actually makes. And so there is some really good research that enemas are a positive thing. It's kind of weird. It's kind of not comfortable for most people, for sure, but overall, I would say that they're a positive thing. So, yeah,
Good to
good
hear.
question. I've never had anyone ask me that, but yes,
Love
I
that.
would say enemas, I
Really?
would say, are more positive than they are negative, as long as you take care.
Yeah, and
And
the
it's not
enemas
like
too,
your main focus to go to the bathroom or something
you
like that.
can do it yourself, or if
Mhm.
it grosses you out, you can go to a place. There's places that do, what are those called? Colonics?
Colon hydrotherapy? Yeah, or
Yeah.
colonics. Yeah, they
Colonics.
have there's places that will kind of hydrate your colon, show you, or at least help you in the process. Yeah.
Yeah. And then help move the bowel movements out.
Yeah.
There
It
is
really kind of can clean you out, for sure. I In the past, I actually did a lot of studies with like taking people's blood and actually looking at people's blood, and that's when it was like, everyone's dehydrated, it's crazy. But looking at people's blood, and the person that had the cleanest blood that I've ever seen was a colon hydrotherapist, and she actively did it consistently, and it was like, there's something to that, because you're really hydrating and cleaning out your body.
I love that. Yeah, I've done enemas for 15 years,
Okay.
and I do them every quarter.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like,
Quarterly,
every
I
3
think,
months.
is a good kind of time frame. I wouldn't say doing it like every day. I wouldn't recommend that
No.
for anybody just because you can pull too much out of your system.
Yeah,
But
and they say it also, makes it so that your booty muscles don't work anymore, or your, like, anus muscles don't work anymore 'cause
right.
it needs like, that's a muscle to, like, push it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Your
like, well, not
sphincters are muscles.
straining, but,
Yeah.
like, just regular push.
Yeah.
And if you do too many, then yeah, but so I do them quarterly, and I'm, like, obsessed. The first one I did was when I was vegan. I turned vegan,
Okay.
obviously a long time ago. I'm not vegan anymore. And so in that world of veganism, there's all, it could go in 1,000 different directions, and I came across enemas, and the very first enema I did, or I shouldn't say the very first enema, but the very first day I did a set of enemas.
Okay.
I don't I don't ever do just one.
Okay.
It was the most disgusting and also, like, refreshing and also, like, freeing thing that I'd ever
Disgusting
done.
and refreshing is a very good comment. That's a very
Yeah,
good
I was like,
description, right?
yeah, because
Yeah.
I thought up to that point I was eating, like, pretty healthy. I wasn't a vegan, but I ate fairly healthy, and
Mhm.
the stuff that came out was so disturbing and to all the senses. I
Yeah.
couldn't even believe. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude, if this is the way I eat and this
Yeah.
holy
Think about
shit,
everyone else,
I
right?
can't even imagine." So, yeah, from that day forward, I never missed. Like, it's so important to me. So the other thing I wanna ask you about is fasting, because I know that if
Yeah.
you go without food for a longer amount of times, then your body has the time that it needs to digest. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on fasting? Is that something that you
Yeah.
appreciate and
Fasting is another one similar to enemas, generally safe, because we are designed just like we're not designed to have stress all the time, talking about the stress and digest. We are designed as humans, as mammals, to go through periods of feast and famine. Like our bodies are designed for that. But now there is no well, especially in in the countries that most of us live in. If you have access to this podcast, you probably are in some place that doesn't go through a lot of famine because we have food readily available all the time. So going through, you have to kind of engineer a time of famine or fasting. So actually not doing anything on purpose because we have access to food pretty regularly. So really there is a positive to that because when you're not eating, your body has, you can kind of, a lot of your digestion, a lot of energy goes into digesting foods that we eat. So if you are not eating, you actually give your body a break. You actually allow that energy in your system to actually be used for other things like cleaning the closets, cleaning out some of the things that it has never had time for. Um, Generally, there's a lot of intermittent fasting, which is essentially fasting over an evening. So eating during a certain period during the day and then fasting for a certain period of time. And then I know for people that experience Ramadan's actually happening in a week or two, and they don't eat during the day and then they eat at night. So that's kind of that fasting period through a cultural piece. And that's lasted for a long time because it is so powerful. But there's also you could actually look up a lot of different things when it comes to fasting. But for the general population, you can do up to 3 days, so 72 hours of fasting. So not eating anything for 72 hours without ill effects with your body. Your body kind of cleans house, if you will, if you're not actually consuming any food. And it's powerful. It's I've done a number of fasts and they actually feel really good after you get through the, oh my God, your brain's like, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat. And then kind of a lower energy. And then your energy peaks back up, usually the second part of the second day or the third day, it's like, wow, I just have so much energy. Your body triggers and turns on a different processing system, essentially. And it's fascinating.
Autophagy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on supplements? Because I know this is where our brains always go right away. It's just like, let me just pop some pills, Nikki. What are some
Yeah.
pills like? And just pop.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Supplements are powerful. Supplements can be really useful. Supplements can be great. But the caveat to that is supplements are not created equal. The supplement industry itself is like the wild, wild west.
Wow.
There is no regulation on supplementation. So you could have something that has great marketing, look fantastic, but essentially be sawdust.
Wow.
So it's really like supplements are great, but you really need to do your due diligence and pay attention to where you're getting it from, where's the source, is there third-party testing on the products, that kind of thing. Like I said, supplements are great, but if you can go back to food first, and I truly believe less is more. Like if you could find something that does more things for your body that has less, like if you can take one thing that does a million things instead of taking a million different products, because most of the time they have fillers in them, they have binders in them. Like I said, there's just so much out there. I rarely recommend getting a supplement from any of like the big box stores.
Wow.
If you know what I mean? Because most of the time there's a few, but I would say like 1 in 50 of the products are actually good that I would recommend or take.
Probably more so my mind goes to an MLM because they're more regulated, or not necessarily?
Usually if the MLM products typically have a lot more, not necessarily more regulations, but a lot more eyes like looking at the product, a lot more research going into it, because it's a big organization. Again, not all of them are created equal. There's some MLMs that have been around for years that I would never take, but some that are amazing, and one that I do actually take. So it's kind of that's a double-edged sword. But there's a lot of MLMs are going to have better products than what you can find just from one of the big box stores that are $5 or whatever. And do know that you pay for what you get when it comes to supplements.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been great. Just a great reminder, just in general, I think for so many of us who, jumped on the bandwagon January and trying to lose some weight, trying to get things in order. And one of the things we're not thinking about is our poops, it's our gut. So we're trying to do better, trying to, whatever it is. But if we're not having regular bowel movements, if we're not taking care of our gut, it doesn't matter what's going on. There's definitely some things to look into, definitely reasons to link up with somebody like yourself. I'd love for you to talk, as we're kind of wrapping up here, who specifically should be reaching out to you? Who do you help?
Yeah. Honestly, women business owners that are stuck in their business. Because a lot of times if you're stuck in your business, your outside world mimics your inside world. So there's something stuck inside of you. You're not digesting properly. You don't have the energy that you could. You're more uncomfortable. Most of the time it's like, what do you mean, Nikki? I have plenty of energy. 9 times out of 10, if I talk to a client, they're like, yeah, I have plenty of energy. No, you have plenty of drive, and that's why you're a business owner, and that's great. But actually having energy like bubble up from the inside, not just, oh my God, I'm on during an interview and then I have to go take a nap, or just after. Like actually having real energy makes a huge difference in your business. So anyone that has a business, or if you're dealing with constipation or diarrhea issues, you're not sure what the cause is, that really again comes down to your business and how much money you make, but it affects so many other things too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I wanted to bring it back to, that poop pop quiz I talked about. Go to my website, nikkigolly.com. Take the poop pop quiz, and just to sweeten the deal for many of you out there, take it. When you take it, for the first 5 of you that do, I will give you my time Normally, I charge $247 for a gut health breakthrough session, but I will go over your quiz results with you and kind of give you some tangible results or tangible steps for you specifically based on your specific quiz. So
Love
just
that.
kind of sweeten the deal and to I appreciate you. I mean, that's why I'm here. I want everyone to feel amazing and have as much energy as I do because I've been on the other side and it sucked.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally hear you on that one. Let me see if I can get this up here.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
Yeah. So if you go to
Got it.
nikkigolly.com, it is in a clickable link in the description below. And then, like she said, it is right at the top. It says like take the poop quiz.
Yeah.
You could do it that way, or just scroll it right here on your phone and pop it in the URL. This has
Perfect.
been absolutely phenomenal. I so appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. Where can people find you on social media if they wanted to follow you?
Yeah, Google me. I'm Nikki Golly. I'm pretty easy to find. Luckily, I'm the only one out there. So Google me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Find me, send me a message, say, "Oh my God, I heard you on Sabrina's show, and tell me more about this," or something like that. I'll happily engage in a conversation with you because this is what I do. I love it. Let's talk poop and get everyone healthier.
I love it. This has been great. So appreciate you, lady. This brings us to an end of yet another incredible episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you, Nikki, for bringing a valuable conversation to us today. All the wisdom, all the inspiration. For those of you listening live or on the replay, Nikki can be found on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Her website, again, is nikkigolly.com. It is in a clickable link in the description below, wherever you're watching us at. To our dedicated listeners who are still here watching us, thank you so much for being here. Remember to follow, like, and share. And once again, my name is Sabrina Victoria. I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation Global, where we continue to have conversations just like this to uplift each other every step of the way.